Okay, this video is a little bit maybe touchy, maybe a little bit, how do I say, controversial. God forbid I post something controversial, right? Anyways, uh, political content in all of its forms, regardless if you are watching Hassan or Ben Shapiro or any one of these uh, dipshit, fuckhead assholes, okay? Because they all suck, okay? The political content in general, in all of its forms, is dangerous, okay? It is dangerous, okay? Saying, having your entire viewpoint of the world be informed by a singular person is how fascism forms. Okay, regardless if you follow Hassan, regardless if you follow Ben Shapiro or Ethan Klein or any one of these fucking guys, okay, they are trying to convince you of their worldview, and by extension, they are trying to convince you that the other guy is wrong and the other guy is a pig piece of shit who doesn't blah 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 blah. Right? Doesn't fucking matter. Okay. The Ben Shapiro's on his podcast talking about, oh, the liberals are subhuman, duh, 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 duh. And then Hassan is doing the exact same thing, but just reverse. So look, here's the thing. You need to have a unified view of what is happening. Okay, so let's take something that happened recently, right? Which is the Black Hawk helicopter crash. That this whole chaotic thing that happened, right? Which is very suspect, but I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it. I'm just using it as an example for media, right? You need to go through every single piece of coverage. If you really care about this, you have to go through every piece of coverage and then find the truth between all of the lines. Because the reality is, if you go to work and you work with a conservative, let's say that you live in the South and there's a guy that you work with who's a big Trump supporter, right? You have to be able to talk to that person as a human being. You have to be able to look at that person and realize that is someone you have to work with. Okay? Not everyone's going to be a social democrat. Not everyone's going to be a Antifa, fucking super politically aware person. Okay? Some people are brainwashed by ideology. Some people, most people actually, are brainwashed and diseased with ideology that was created by Nazi propagandologists in the 1940s, but in 1945, after World War II. Google Operation Paperclip. Okay, we took a bunch of Nazi scientists, brought them here, and what do you know? We had the nuclear family. We had, blonde hair, blue eyes on all the advertisements and all that shit, right? Because they saw what they were able to achieve in Germany in regards to social conformity, and they wanted it to happen here. So what they did was they divided everyone up into little political parties and all this atomization so that people wouldn't interact with each other. So that you immediately, when you see someone with a Trump hat, or if you see someone with a rainbow flag on their car, you are immediately assigning that person with a bunch of ethical and moral standards that are that was informed to you by Fox News or Twitter, right? And this is dangerous. This is extremely dangerous because now you have all of these isolated little groups of people who are in their own little echo chambers and they're spiraling. They're spiraling out of control right now. You have Trump supporters, putting full gas on the anti-trans and the anti self-expression thing, which is ironic because these are the same people who are like freedom of speech, and then they're like, oh, but not for trans people. It's like, dude, come on. And then on the left you have people who are just dehumanizing conservatives completely. And it's like, I'm not a centrist, I'm syncretic, which means I have very strong leftist opinions and I have very strong right wing opinions, right? I'm syncretic. I'm very socially and economically leftist, and then there are certain things that I'm conservative on, right? I don't consider myself I don't assign myself to a specific political ideology because that has failings. That is how evil happens, right? Like it doesn't matter the political ideology. You can be a strong conservative and be just as evil as a very strong leftist, right? Like the extremes in any regard just create a dangerous situation for nature, for our environment, for human relations, for all of that stuff. And you can see this in North Africa and West Asia, not the Middle East. It is West Asia and North Africa. Anyways, Israel and Palestine is a perfect example of this, right? Israel is diseased by Zionism, which is a political ideology based off of an extreme ethnocentric worldview that is regressive, that is extremely regressive to human development, right? And then you have ISIS and the Taliban and other extremist groups that you can see what this does to their culture, and you can see what this does to their economies, right? Like the people there are not surviving. The people there are starving. The people there don't have access to reliable food or shelter or water, and they are constantly being inundated with this ideology that is not helping them. And America is on the exact same route. Okay, America is progressively becoming more and more extremist, and it's a type of extremism that's just kind of shooting in the dark. It's not even like how do I put this? It isn't even a directed extremism. It's like all of these different people are becoming extremist because they watched Hassan or they watched Ben Shapiro say something. It's like, dude, you are on the path to fascism, regardless if you follow Hassan or if you follow Ben Shapiro. It's the same end. It's the same end, right? Like it's totalitarianism. It's oligarchical totalitarianism, and I just want people to think for themselves. Think for yourself, okay? Watch both. Watch Ben Shapiro, then watch Hassan. Go on Fox News, then go on CNN. Go on Reuters, then go on Business Today, right? Like, have a holistic approach to the media you digest. Do not just get sucked into whatever group, like, don't get sucked into that. Don't get sucked into that whole thing of like this it's like Twitter, like don't get sucked into just one worldview. Don't get sucked into one viewpoint. Construct a worldview based off of a multitude of sources so that when you have a moment to actually bridge these gaps to where you can socialize with someone who is not the same political ideology as you can see them as human, and you can see where their political ideology came from, and you can understand them better. And then we all can work together, and then we can all fucking work together. But until you start looking at the opposing people, whatever it may be, right, as human beings, sorry, geez. Until you can start viewing people as just people, then nothing is going to get done. Nothing's going to get done. And you're going to keep having these capitalist dickheads controlling everything. You're going to keep seeing these dudes that are, I don't know, entertainment fodder. They're just entertainment headline farming. It's just headline farming. Right? Like they're just trying to get headlines. So they'll put a bunch of kids in a helicopter and tell them to fly up and crash the helicopter because they're headline farming. That's what it is. It's just so they can get more headlines, so that they can avert your attention from the fact that the economy is going to crash. And not only is the economy going to crash, but subsequently, logistical systems are going to crash. And it's just going to go down, 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 down. And then once you go to the grocery store, you're going to be like, why are eggs $50? Right? You're going to go to the grocery store and you're going to be like, why did I just spend $200 on groceries? Because ultimately, our world is run on logistics and infrastructure. And our logistics and infrastructure are failing. So they are trying to avert your attention to trivial social dynamics that change every 10 years. 10 years ago, we were concerned about third wave feminism, Gamergate, and vegans. And now it's like trans, gun rights, and I don't know what else. I don't really pay attention to it that deeply, right? And like, I don't know. It just, think for yourself. Think for yourself. And yeah. Peace. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for following this page. Thank you for subscribing to me. I am here to try and get, if I have a platform, I'm gonna try and use this so that people can think independently and not be be able to socialize, to interact with people, and cultivate healthy social relationships between all. All right, peace. That's my message.